Who were the UDA? UDA stands for the Ulster Defence Association and was the name of a paramilitary loyalist group in Northern Ireland that wished to remain part of the United Kingdom as opposed to unifying with the rest of Ireland with the Republic in the south. This situation had been a problem since 1921 after the Anglo-Irish War, in which the Anglo-Irish Treaty designed that the northern 6 counties could choose to remain with the United Kingdom or join the new independent Irish Free State in the south. They chose to remain with the United Kingdom, largely because of the presence of many Protestants which had arrived there due to the plantation of Ulster, in which Protestants from England and Scotland had been sent to this northern part of Ireland to help subdue the rebellious Catholic population starting in the 17th century. This came to a head in the 1960s in a period of sectarian violence called the Troubles, where the Protestant and Catholic communities started to commit acts of terror and violence against one another, leading to the British Army being sent in. The UDA was formed in 1972 and was essentially a group that ensured the safety of the Protestant, loyalist, unionist presence and population, the majority in Northern Ireland at the time. It came from an amalgamation of defence associations, hence its name, the Ulster, this being the name of the old kingdom that had been part of that northern part of Ireland, defence associations, as it was a linking of all of these groups that acted as militias to safeguard Protestant communities. The UDA was soon able to apply real political pressure in the form of a general strike in 1974 to protest against the Sunningdale Agreement, which was a power-sharing agreement with Republican elements in government that they thought was too lenient towards those Republicans, and which was subsequently abandoned due to their efforts. However, they also had another side, and this was the UFF, or the Ulster Freedom Fighters, which was a pseudonym that they used for their paramilitary campaign of terror. This allowed the UDA at the same time to be seen as a legal entity, as the authorities believed that they were indeed a different group to the UFF, who were the paramilitary group carrying out attacks largely against Catholic civilians uninvolved with the Irish Republican Army, their main perceived enemy in the area. What's interesting is that the UDA in itself was seen as a counterpart to the IRA, and that was indeed their mission statement, to protect Protestant communities and to fight back against republicanism. They said that if the IRA were to lay down their arms, then the UDA would follow suit and do the same. But if it should come to it that Northern Ireland would become part of the Republic of Ireland, then they promised that they would become the reverse IRA and start a bombing and violent campaign to bring Northern Ireland back out of that union and back into union with the United Kingdom. They even in the 1970s pursued the route of a third option, which was Ulster nationalism, in which Ulster may become a completely independent country from both the Republic of Ireland and from Great Britain if it did indeed come to that, although they later abandoned this. Just as their main rivals, the IRA, also bombed and attacked locations in Great Britain, so the UDA also took the war to the Republic of Ireland by planting explosives. Another famous action done by the UDA was the 1973 killing of the Irish nationalist politician Paddy Wilson and his companion in Northern Ireland. And in 1974, that strike that successfully brought the end of the Sunningdale Agreement had largely been enforced through threat of intimidation and violence on the Protestant population in Northern Ireland itself. The UDA's ability to pursue this violent campaign was greatly enhanced in 1988 when they got a shipment of arms from Lebanon, which allowed them to go on a spree of assassinations against largely Catholic civilians within the country. And it was found in 1985 in an MI5 report that around 85% of their target information had actually come from British sources, which was a large controversy when this had become public after the Troubles. By 1992, however, the link between the UDA and the actions being committed under the pseudonym UFF were becoming increasingly obvious, and the UDA as a political organisation was banned by the authorities. 2 years later, in 1994, the UDA took part in a ceasefire that was also observed by the IRA. When in 2005 the Provisional IRA officially ended its armed campaign and decommissioned its arsenal, it said it would consider its future. And in 2007, when further arms were destroyed by the IRA, they also said that they had put away their arms but had not yet been decommissioned, although in 2010 they did indeed say that they had. The later UDA after the Good Friday Agreement is somewhat related to the story of drug trafficking and trying to handle this trade in certain areas, as well as to criminality. And this is perhaps why in 2007 a new group called the Real UFF, the Real Ulster Freedom Fighters, that pseudonym, was created, and they have carried out several attacks in the area, promising to kill the remainder of the UDA leadership, and it seems to be more an infighting group rather than a new continuation of what the UDA had been all about, probably for the better.